Hey, what's up, Unbroken Nation?
The reason why I'm thinking about this is we often believe and feel like we are alone. Like somehow, some way, it's just us. It's just us against the world. And I've thought that way before. I've had that thought process before. I know many of you listening to this have had that thought process before. But the truth is that you're not alone. You're just not. Like at the end of the day, no matter what, you are a part of something. You are part of a community, whether it's a community that you build or the community that you're put into from your past, your background, from whatever it is that you come from. Now, one of the things that I always try to teach my clients when we go into coaching, which I'm going to teach you guys right now, is you have to think about the three C's: community, connection, commitment. Now, community is one that when I think about the healing journey, when I think about coming into this process of learning, of growing, of changing, of transforming, of ultimately becoming unbroken, community is to you, if you understand what I'm about to say, going to be one of the cornerstones for everything that's next. That's why we created Think Unbroken Academy. It's a free community. If you go to thinkunbrokenacademy.com, you can join it. That's why we have UnbrokenCon coming up. If you go to unbrokencon.com, you can join it. That's why we have the Think Unbroken podcast. And if you go to thinkunbrokenpodcast.com, you can join us, right? And the reason why is because community is everything. When I started this, I realized about 12 years ago, one of the things that I needed was to have a place to be a part of something. And most importantly, be a part of something that wasn't what I knew. Because we only get to where we are based on what we know. And if you are only at where you are today because of what you know, but you want to go somewhere further, then you have to know more things. Like that's a simplified version of it, right? I'm always thinking about reverse engineering the goal. I'm like, okay, if I want to heal trauma and be a part of a community, have people I can leverage and lean on, learn from experts, and be able to come into a safe space, then what does that look like? And so I reverse engineer that and I go, okay, step one, find that. Does it exist? Okay, no, it doesn't. So when I actually started and I created Think Unbroken, it didn't exist. Like what I envisioned the world of healing trauma to look like wasn't there. And so I said to myself, I'm going to go and build it. Now, initially in building it, it was like, I have to go and join group therapy, right? Men's group therapy, Gestalt therapy, childhood trauma informed therapy, EMDR, CBT, all of the things, right? And I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to learn. And then I'm going to go and join other support groups because I want to learn. And at that point, it was just me learning. And then I thought to myself, I'm going to take all these concepts and ideas that I've learned, and I'm going to start to integrate them into what at that point was not Think Unbroken, but just an idea. And as I got deeper into building Think Unbroken, I said, okay, wait a second. How do I take that idea and I elaborated on it more, I built it more, and I created it into something bigger. Okay, well, what do I need to do? I need to create a place where people can come together. Now, if you rewind 5, almost 6 years ago now, it was in-person stuff. So I spoke in Bali and Singapore and Malaysia and Kuala Lumpur and London and New York and LA and Portland and Seattle and Denver. Like I spoke everywhere, right? And then as it evolved, it was like, wait a second, we need a place where people can access this stuff all the time. That's where Think Unbroken podcasts come together. And I was like, okay, cool. If I go and I make a podcast and I put out content every single day for a year, maybe this will help people. Well, now we've been so lucky and fortunate to have a show that's been top 10 in the world multiple times. I mean, I've had Tom Bilyeu, Lisa Bilyeu, John Lee Dumas, Anthony Trucks, Dr. Caroline Leaf, Judd Brewer, Jenna Kutcher, Amy Porterfield. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And I was like, okay, cool. So now how do I give that information to the audience and allow them to learn from people who've already done the thing they're trying to do? Well, we'll put out the podcast. We'll tell people about it. And also, please, if you have not, review the podcast. If you go to thinkunbrokenpodcast.com, if you review it on iTunes, it would mean the world to me. Please, because you get to play a role in helping people by reviewing that show. And so what happens is effectively, I'll give you the brief of it. When you leave a review, it bumps up the show in the rankings of the algorithm. So it shows up in the listing so that other people who have survived trauma, who have learned in the way that you have learned or need to learn in the way that you are learning through the show, can access that information. And also it's my birthday, so do it anyway. So just go to thinkunbrokenpodcast.com, leave a review. Seriously, it actually helps people. It helps. You could be the reason why somebody's life gets different.